You ever think your whole life can change in the middle of a forgotten road, just because you decide to help a stranger? I didn't at least not until the night I found myself stuck out there, sweat dripping through my fancy shirt, my patience running on empty, and not a soul in sight to hear me curse at my dead car. I was Joshua Guy, with everything people say matters in Abuja, a slick car, a title, and more money than I could really count. But that night, none of it could buy me a way out. Funny how life works, huh? Anyway, just as I was losing hope and thinking I'd sleep in my car, I spotted someone across the road, a woman, clothes tattered, carrying nothing but a small bag and a stubborn kind of dignity that you notice right away. She looked worn out, like hunger had made a home in her bones, but she didn't walk past Mesh stopped. "Good evening, sir," she said, voice steady but soft, and I'll admit, I almost brushed her off. But then she asked if I needed help, and when I asked what she knew about engines, she just looked me dead in the eye and said, "I think you're judging a book by its cover." You know what I mean? Sometimes one sentence slices right through you. Turns out, her name was Stella. She poked around my engine, found a loose wire, and fixed it like she'd done it 100 times. My car roared back to life, but when I tried to pay her, she just smiled and said, "Kindness isn't meant to be sold." That, right there, hit me harder than the broken-down car. I handed her my business card instead and told her to find me the next morning if she ever needed anything. But she just nodded, tucked the card in her old bag, and disappeared down the road. That night, she sat in her shelter, half a loaf of dry bread for dinner. Nothing left but her pride. She could have taken the money, maybe eaten a real meal, but she didn't. She kept looking at my card, turning it over in her hand, telling herself, "If I go tomorrow, what do I have to lose?" So she did. First thing in the morning, Stella showed up at my company's gates, holding my card like it was a golden ticket, only to be laughed at by my security. "This place isn't for beggars," they told her. Just as she was about to turn away, I spotted her from my office window, and man, I flew down those stairs faster than I ever thought possible. I brought her in, sat her down, listened to her story, a girl with no family, no home, just guts and hard days behind her. She'd finished high school, wanted more, but life had other plans. That moment, I decided to do something different. I hired her as a cleaner in my garage, gave her a place to sleep, and even found her a tutor to help her chase her dream of going to college. She thanked me with a trembling voice, but what she didn't know was that she was already teaching me what strength really looked like. Day after day, Stella swept the garage before dawn, learned quickly, fixed things the others broke, and never complained, not even when some folks at work whispered behind her back, called her names, laughed at the way I'd started noticing her. And yet people noticed. My assistant Victoria, always dressed sharp, always hoping for my attention, started watching Stella like a hawk. One day, she came into my office, all sweet words and sharp warnings. "Boss, girls like that always want something. Be careful." My business partners try to say the same thing. "People will talk. Joshua, protect your image." But none of them saw what I saw. They saw rags. I saw resilience. But you know how whispers grow teeth. One night, after too many stares, too many jokes, too much shame that wasn't hers to carry, Stella just packed her bag and left no goodbye. No note, just gone. I searched everywhere, called everyone, drove back to that same lonely road for weeks hoping to see her walk by, but she vanished like she'd never been there at all. It took 3 weeks before I got word a bus driver had seen her working construction on the edge of the city, carrying blocks bigger than she was, face drawn but still standing. When I saw her again, she looked thinner, but her eyes had the same fire. "I left because I didn't want to bring you shame," she told me, dust clinging to her skin. "I knew I didn't belong in your world." I took her hand and told her the truth. "You don't belong on the street either. You belong in my life." I hugged her right there in front of everyone, let them gossip all they wanted. That's the twist, you see? Sometimes the person you help ends up saving you. After that, I set Stella up with an apartment, bought her new clothes, told her she wouldn't go back to cleaning garages to run her own small business while going to college. My sister Anita managed the place and made Stella feel right at home. Stella's whole world changed, hers, and mine too. A year later, I picked her up outside the university. She wore jeans and a white shirt, face bright, talking about fixing engines in her mechanical engineering class. When I told her I didn't help her out of pity, but because I saw something real in her, she smiled that smile, the one that's both shy and strong at the same time. We drove to the beach, sat with the waves and the sunset, and I finally told her the truth. I wanted a life with her, not just to help her get by. She said yes, tears in her eyes, and in that moment, all the pain, the rumors, the cold nights on the street, they faded away. What was left was real, and it belonged to both of us. So yeah, sometimes you stop on a dark road and meet someone who changes everything, not just for you, but for themselves too. What did this story teach you? That a little kindness can go a long way. That love has nothing to do with money or where you come from. Or that sometimes the world judges what it can't understand, but you can always choose to see past it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What's your take on real kindness, on justice, on second chances? I'd love to hear what you think, because maybe, just maybe, your words will be the spark for someone else out there. If you found something to hold on to in this story, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget, another story is coming soon. Stay tuned.